What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Maurice, the sports historian, back again with another video. I got a special guest. Gabe, introduce yourself to the people, man.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Gabe Slidin. I'm Mo's guy from KOT. You can catch me
If you
on my
know,
own
you
channel
know.
at Gabe Slidin, right here on the screen. Let's get it.
Facts. Channel definitely gonna be linked in the description. Make sure you go check my boy out. Subscribe to him. Do all that. But we on my channel and we talking about Money in the Bank 2023. Uh, Mainly, we wanted to cover who we want to win both the men's and women's matches. But up until this point, I guess we can, talk about the card as well. Some of the matches that have been announced for it. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see another Bloodline main event without like the title being defended, the WWE Undisputed title, which is unfortunate because I would like to see that title be defended. Not every pay per view, it doesn't have to, but like every once in a while would be cool. I don't. Has it been defended after Mania?
Technically, on a house show that just happened like a couple days ago, we defended against Rey Mysterio. But as far as like televised or pay per view defenses, nah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess that counts, but not really because everybody didn't get to see it. But uh, the Bloodline Civil War is most likely going to main event. And Gabe, can I get your thoughts on the? Well, can I get your thoughts on what transpired up until this point to lead to the match?
Hey, man, here's my one thing. Wherever this takes us, this has to end with Jay beating Roman at SummerSlam. I know people talk
Mm-hmm.
about like, oh, it should be Cody or it should be whoever. Bro, this story started 3 years ago. Roman won the title. Who was the first guy he faced? It was Jay Uso,
That's
right?
facts. That's facts.
And he never pinned Jay. He never pinned Jay.
He
The
did have a
first
pin
match,
J.
Jimmy threw in the white towel. And then the second
Mm-hmm.
match, Jay only said I quit because he attacked Jimmy.
Right.
Now, I think it's time. Not gonna say they did it on purpose because it's a completely different creative team from when that happened,
Mm-hmm.
but the continuity of the story shows, hey man, Jay has a really good chance at taking down Roman, and I think it just makes sense. This whole like time, everybody's like, oh, Roman never wins clean. From day one, the guy that would always interfere on his behalf was Jay, and now that Jay's not there anymore, Jimmy's not there. He can be an equalizer to take out Solo. Even you could see Sami Zayn get involved again. At the end of the day, I think this has to end with Jay beating Roman. As far as this tag match, though, I would really not be surprised if they gave Roman and Solo the win here. If I had to give a prediction,
Mm-hmm.
I do think Roman and Solo take this win just because Roman and Solo lost at Night of Champions. I don't think they're going to lose two pay per views in a row. I think they're going to try to keep them strong. I don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but I feel like it'll end in a way that like leaves them strong enough to where Jay can challenge Roman at SummerSlam. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that means it would probably be like a situation where I'll say like Roman pins Jimmy maybe. But
Maybe.
overall, I think it's
Maybe.
a super interesting match because this is one of those matches where I could really see either side winning. If the
Right. Right.
Usos win, I think there's a chance Roman continues to defend. But I think my big thing with Roman's title reign at this point is like the Jay story feels so good, and it feels like it would be a good ending for Roman's title reign storyline wise. Now people can give the argument of building a new star, and maybe there's somebody else that can get like could be a bigger star off it than Jay. But
Mm-hmm.
storyline wise, if you take this Roman reign past Jay, I just don't really know where you go with it because if it's Cody again, well, that's probably going to be a WrestleMania type match. And so, what do you do between SummerSlam and WrestleMania? There's like Bobby Lashley, there's AJ Styles, there's a couple guys, but like, you
Do you
tell
really
me,
want to? Do you really
yeah,
want to set them up just to lose at this point?
right? Like, do we think they're going to
Uh,
be Roman? I don't think so.
Hell no. Although I would like to see AJ Styles with that gold belt, but not right now. What I was gonna say for this match, I think that they're gonna go with having the Usos win, and because for two reasons. I don't know if you remember, but the last match that John Cena had on SmackDown, then he teamed with KO, and that
Mhm.
match was bad, by the way. He teamed with KO, and they won. They pinned Solo. Now the champions, Solo ate the pin as well. I think this time we have the Usos win either Jimmy or Jay. More than likely Jay if they want to set up at SummerSlam. Pins Roman, have Roman pin clean, like his first clean pin since I literally can't remember when. But yeah, set that up, and then him getting a clean pin is really going to be like, if it gives credibility to the SummerSlam match if they choose to go that route. But enough about the Bloodline Civil War. I'm sure it's going to be a great match, storyline, all that, and that'll definitely be the main topic when I do my next day reviews. Oh damn! I just remembered that I'm going to be in Kansas City for my next day reviews.
Dang. Yeah,
Gonna have
one
to
more thing
figure out
on
how to
that
get that out.
too. I think on the SmackDown match with John Cena, I think that was Sami Zayn they pinned
No, no,
because
no.
that led
They. Oh
to.
wait.
I think it
Oh
was
no, no, no. You're right.
Sammy
You're
and
right. You're
Roman.
right. It was Sammy. It was Sammy and Roman. You're right. You're right. But still, every tag match we've seen Roman in, somebody else has ate the pin for him. I think he's gonna eat the pin this time if they choose to go that route with
That's bold.
yeah, it is bold, but I mean, you want to set up the SummerSlam match and have Jay win, which I wouldn't. Hey, I'm all for Jay Uso, main event Jay Uso winning that title and taking it off Roman. But you want to do it, you got to do it right. I think this builds credibility for when you do it. But enough
Yeah, I
about
mean,
that bloodline match. Enough about that. Another match that I'm probably not even probably I'm definitely more excited for. We get the third time we've seen these competitors in singles action. Second time for the championship. Seth freaking Rollins, the world heavyweight champion, versus Finn Balor. Um, Now this match is going to be great. I know it's going to be great. They match at SummerSlam was great. They match at Raw, even though it was for in the semifinals was great. It's all going to be great. I just wish that we could have held off on this story for a little bit because I really want Finn Balor to win the title. Like I really want Finn Balor to get his world championship reign. Unfortunately, with the past bookings of how they've done Finn Balor, most notably at WrestleMania, they had Demon Finn Balor lose to Edge. Don't get me started on that decision. I hate it. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get Finn Balor ending Seth's title reign as quickly as it started. Just started at Night of Champions. I think he's going to have a long reign, probably until like at least Survivor Series or something like that. Maybe Money in the Bank is involved. Gabe, get your thoughts on this match. What do you want to see happen out of this match?
I would love for Finn Balor to win. I'm such
Facts,
like a I'm
facts.
such a I'm such a Judgment Day supporter. Like I really feel like it's elevated everybody in it. Like Rhea Ripley was kind of dead in the water, was doing like the tag team stuff with like Nikki ASH and was just kind of in limbo. She joins
Uh,
Judgment Day. Now all of a sudden, she's arguably like a top 3 star in the women's division. I say Becky
I
and
do
Bianca
have
might
I,
be a little bit
I
bigger.
do have something to say about Rhea and the Judgment Day, but we can get to that after we get conclude what we think about this match.
But yeah, like I think she's been elevated. Dom's been elevated by his heel turn, but we'll talk about him later.
Facts,
We'll talk about
facts,
Priest later too. Big player, Money in the Bank,
facts.
huge match with Bad Bunny. Finn Balor feels like out of everybody in it, he's been elevated the least. And
Mhm.
so I wish they would give him his big moment. He
I
lost the
think
big
part of
Edge
that
feud.
I think part of that is losing the Edge feud. Not only losing the Edge feud, but losing the Edge feud as Demon Finn Balor. And on top of that, how the match actually went, with Finn getting cut up and all that, which even after that, even after Finn getting cut up, them having to pan away because bleeding, getting stitched up, and then jumping back into the match. I thought that was a damn good match. Like I thoroughly enjoyed the rest of the match, although they did cut it short. I think that unfortunately we gonna see Finn Balor eat another L. Um, I don't know. Maybe no. I was gonna say maybe they have a disqualification angle with Priest, but I don't want to see that. If he's gonna lose, let him lose clean because he can recover from a loss from to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is quite literally the champion, and I don't when's the last time he lost. Uh, but yeah, it's just unfortunate the timing of things, but this match is going to be great. It's going to be great. They SummerSlam match. What was that? SummerSlam 2014. That match was phenomenal. I loved it. So hopefully we get more of that match. I do. I think they're probably going to do a callback to the Buckle Bomb spot again, and hopefully this time like nobody injures themselves. Please, can we not?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'm very excited for the actual in-ring action of it. I wish that we wouldn't have got that in the like championship tournament, just so that way
Hmm.
it'd be a little bit more fresh. It's like I just saw Seth Rollins beat him pretty clean, I think, if I remember right on Raw.
I
So
think
it's
yeah, it
like
was pretty
at
clean.
that point, it's like I don't know. The thing is like a Finn Balor title reign would be so fun because there's this dynamic where it's like him and Priest are booked just about as strong as each other. And so it's like if Finn gets that title, Dom's kind of doing whatever he's doing Judgment Day wise, but like as
Hmm.
far as him and Priest, it's like they're even building up this tension on Raw where Finn's like, hey, like if you won Money in the Bank, you wouldn't cash in on me, right? And it's like you could see a very interesting dynamic if he were to win. It's just like you said earlier, Seth is a little bit too early into this title reign, and I think they have to
Hmm.
just establish this title reign more. And they've already started doing it really well. I think the first defense against Priest went really well. By the time this video releases, he'll have another good defense against Braun Breaker.
Hmm.
Then this match against Finn should be
We
really good.
actually
So,
recording this. We actually
yeah.
recording this on Tuesday, and NXT actually just started. So we gonna watch that later. Y'all gonna see that after. Y'all gonna see this after that.
Right. So I assume Seth comes out of that the champ since this match is already booked for Money in the
Of
Bank.
course.
But I truly think Seth's reign goes until he gets cashed in on. Now, there's two different guys I think could win Money in the Bank. We'll get to that later, but I
Mhm.
think either of those guys have a viable reason to cash in on Seth.
And regarding Seth and his title, obviously we want him to hold it for a while. It's been too long since he's held a world title. Let him get his reign and let him get a proper reign. Don't want this reign to get fucked up by a stupid match being called off because whatever. And I don't want it to get stale just by in weird booking decisions and stuff like that. I want this to be a nice babyface reign, face reign, make them look strong, put some good competition up, build a story. Seth's creative, creatives being pretty creative when it comes to Seth and the storyline. I think it'll be fine. I was gonna say back to that before we get to the Money to Bank. We going that's later on. Do you think? And I just thought about this. Do you think it's like it kind of makes sense for Seth to get cashed in on, seeing as that's how he won his first world championship?
I mean, I think either way it makes perfect sense. Just like psychology wise, having a heel cash in on the babyface champion, I think
Hmm.
makes a lot of sense just to get some really good heat. And we really haven't had a good successful heel like cash in a while because theories went horribly. The Miz had the title for like 8 days when he cashed in. Big E was a babyface. Though, like the whole Brock thing was like strange. There hasn't really been a good like heel draws a ton of heat cashing in forever. And so if
Yeah.
some heel because Seth Rollins is so over. And I think the big thing too with Seth right now is his last reign, it was mostly due to bad booking, but he kind
Hmm.
of lost all his babyface momentum by the
He
end.
did.
I think if you let this reign go long enough, but not too long, ended at the right time, it could be remembered very, very fondly. Because right now, they're still singing his song. Everybody loves Seth right now. You don't want to let it get stale, but I think there is still a lot of stories left in the tank for him. Since they did just do the draft, he's on a show with a lot of different guys. I won't
Hmm.
be mad whenever he loses the title though, because here's the thing with Seth Rollins, he always has the best blood feuds out of anybody in that company right now. When it comes to non-title feuds, he is unmatched. So that's where I'm like, oh, I think if Finn has the title, there's like this super cool story they can do. With
Hmm.
Seth, I feel like he's at the point where he's just bigger than the title. So while I
Right.
think he really deserved this reign, just putting on great matches and great storylines while he didn't have a title for 4 years, if he did lose it sooner than later, I'm not upset because I know he's still going to give me great work.
Exactly. You talk about blood feuds. I think of in the pandemic era, him versus Dominic and Ray. I think of him versus Edge after Edge came back. Um, it's not a blood feud, but the storyline was built between him and Roman when they had faced off for the was it for the undisputed at that point and at the
It
Rumble?
was not undisputed yet because yeah, it got disputed that Mania when Seth was facing Cody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you know, but yeah, definitely looking forward to this match. Moving on to another match. What else? What else do we got? We covered the Bloodline Civil War. We covered Seth versus Cody. There is
We got Cody and Dom.
Cody and Dom. Cody and Dominic Mysterio. I love it. They doing what they doing. They doing the Chris Jericho, Goldberg thing where Goldberg couldn't get his hands on Chris Jericho. Obviously not to that extent. It's packed within a few weeks of Raw, but Cody's gonna beat the hell out of Dom, bro. And Dom, to his credit, is like really good in the ring now. When you talk about that pandemic era, he was still a little rusty, not rusty, still a little green, around the ears. But I think now he's pretty damn good in the ring. He can hold his own. I think it'll be a really good match versus Cody Rhodes. And the crowd is going to be into it. Crowd's definitely going to be into it. Gabe, what you thinking?
I completely agree with the crowd aspect. I think this was the perfect time to book this match. Cody's in the middle of his Brock Lesnar program, but Brock goes away for a little bit. He's not full time, but Brock's been on like every pay-per-view this year, and that's not over. So in the meantime, they said, hey, we have this very hot baby face. What do we want to do with this just absolutely massive, raucous London crowd? You take your baby face that gets the loudest reactions with your heel that gets the most heat. It's literally the guy with the loudest cheers versus the guy with the loudest boos. The match-wise, like, that's going to be just incredible. I think whether the in-ring product is great or not, because Dominic's improved as a wrestler, but, I mean, he's no Shawn Michaels, right? Like,
of course not.
He's fine. Cody's very good. I think he can get a great match out of almost anybody. So I think this match will probably be an above-average match, a fun match, but it's really going to be the crowd that carries this. The thing that I'm looking out for is I think there's a chance where Dominic wins this match. I think Cody's probably on offense for like 90% of it. There might be like a couple Rhea distraction spots. I think there could be this massive moment where Cody's about to get the win, and then there's Brock Lesnar, and he makes his return, and he beats the shit out of Cody. Dom seeks the win. That's been Dom's character for a while now too. Like, if you think about it, Dom for real hasn't lost a singles match in a minute. It's been a while. I don't think he got pinned on Raw last night at this point when they did like the 6-man.
Nah, Priest ate that pin, didn't he?
Right, so Priest ate that pin. So it's like they've been kind of protecting Dominic from pins. He usually gets the wins off like Rhea distractions or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm thinking there is a world where like Cody takes this loss because Brock Lesnar comes back and like cost him the match.
I could see that, especially with it being in London, it's gonna get a huge reaction. Dun 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 dun. Like, come on, it gets a reaction out of everybody every time. Yeah. And also, we know that this feud isn't done yet. This doesn't really matter between Cody and Dom. It was just like, you want to fight? Fight me at Money in the Bank. So that'll be a good way to segue back into it. We probably see Brock on a few Raws after that or something like that. Between the interactions between him and Cody as well. So it'll be a fun match. It'll be a good match. It can go either. It honestly can go either way. But I think that Dom winning this match due to Brock Lesnar distraction probably makes the most sense. Speaking of distractions, someone who might be ringside for this match, Rhea Ripley, currently doesn't have a match scheduled for Money in the Bank and doesn't have one scheduled for the Raw before, seeing as that would be next week. We kind of haven't gotten anything between her and any of the other female talent yet. Well, no, I take that back. We just got a small little tension between her and Raquel. It was her and Raquel. We got something there. I don't know if they're going to put that as a match for Money in the Bank. But yeah, that's something that might happen. We also take a look at SmackDown. More than likely, the WWE Women's Championship also isn't going to be defended at Money in the Bank because they're doing the Asuka versus Charlotte literally the day before. I think that ends in Asuka probably beating Charlotte clean, or we might see a Bianca heel turn, and that could lead into disqualification in favor of, or it doesn't matter because the title can't change on a disqualification, champion's advantage. And then we probably see that triple threat at SummerSlam. So before we get to the Money in the Bank matches, what's your thoughts on that potentially happening at SummerSlam, that triple threat?
Well, as a guy that currently has a ticket to SummerSlam in Detroit,
Hey,
I love that. I love that idea,
I
man.
forgot.
I
Yeah, my
love
boy
that
going to
idea,
SummerSlam.
bro. I
You gotta,
love
you
that
gotta,
idea.
you gotta vlog that. You gotta vlog that.
That
Good.
would be
That's good
sick.
content. That's good
Because
content.
listen, if there's one thing I know about both Charlotte and Bianca Belair, it's that in these big matches, these stadium size
They pop
matches,
off.
they are incredible. I think they saved the singles match for WrestleMania 40. I think that's just a huge match to have.
Mm-hmm.
But having Asuka in this triple threat, that's a pretty huge match too. People love them some Asuka, man, and she is no slouch.
I love
in the ring
Asuka. Asuka's
herself.
my favorite female wrestler.
So having those three in the ring together, like I think that'll be a good match. And I think like a distraction finish like that, or like even just a straight disqualification that sets it up, I think that makes a lot of sense for why they put it on the SmackDown instead of on the pay-per-view. Especially Triple H has been really prone to like on these gimmick shows, he'll usually go like 5 matches, like War Games was 5 matches, Rumble was 5 matches. He's very this is a common kind of setup for him. And it really does pack out these go-home shows. It'll still be in front of a London crowd, so it'll be really big. It should be fun, man.
Didn't they do something similar for the go home SmackDown when it was in Puerto Rico? I know that the SmackDown was in Puerto Rico. Did they have some sort of title match? Wasn't it the US title? Didn't it get defended?
No, the US title was on the pay-per-view because it was Bronson, Bobby, and Theory in the triple threat.
I'm thinking.
I feel like it was something big though.
I'm thinking of the US title got defended the SmackDown before Night of Champions. That's what happened.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it was Theory versus Sheamus, I want to say. Yeah, Theory versus Sheamus. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I definitely think we're gonna get something interesting to happen. I pray that I'm not even gonna mention it because it's not gonna happen. If you know, you know. But Asuka will still be the champion, going into what the next pay-per-view that the women's championship is defended. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. So now we've done enough dilly-dallying. Let's talk about. You want to talk about the men's or the women's first?
Let's talk about the women's first.
All right, we ready?
Bro.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's because my mom called me and my calls come through my computer, so completely fucked it up.
Right. All right. All right, Gabe. You want to talk about the men's or the women's Money in the Bank ladder match first?
We're gonna talk about the women's, man. I think this match is gonna be real fun.
I bet for sure. So currently, in the women's Money in the Bank match, we have Zelina Vega, we have Io Sky, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, who just got added because of a disqualification by Becky Lynch in favor of Trish Stratus. So Trish Stratus, that's 4. No, that's 4. Zoe Stark and Bayley, but Bayley has a match on SmackDown. I don't know when this episode is when this video is gonna go out, but Bayley has a match on SmackDown, and her Money in the Bank spot is up for grabs between her and Shotzi. So we're either gonna see Bayley or Shotzi as the final woman that is surely confirmed for the Money in the Bank match. Gabe, who do you want to win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match?
So I think this is going to be a great story match. There's going to be a lot of just intersecting feuds that really collide here. At the end of the day, I think this briefcase is coming home with Io Sky. And here's why, man. I think the whole Trish
Io
Stratus
Sky truther, I see.
Yes, the Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus feud, and by extension Zoe Stark, I think they all find a way to cancel each other out. I think that just somehow I don't know if somebody else comes in, say Lita returns, big UK pop, and they 2-on-2 take each other out. Whatever happens there, I think Zelina's mainly there for more spots because she's a fun wrestler, but I don't think she actually has a chance in winning this match.
More than likely, no.
It leaves Bayley and Io Sky, and this whole time, the whole damage control thing, Dakota Kai's out, and they've sown some dissension. Bayley and Io. Bayley's kind of costed Io some chances and some opportunities, notably against Bianca Belair in Puerto Rico.
Yep, namely at Backlash in Puerto Rico. Cost her that match.
Right.
Cost her a match last week on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm. So, it's looking like Bailey's like, yeah, somebody from Damage Control is gonna win, and Io, while it's more subtle because she doesn't like speak much English, so it's really just understated and not it's just like seen. It's she gives the vibe that she's like, no, it's gonna be me
It's
winning,
gonna
not
be me,
somebody from
right?
Damage Control. And so I do think the finish of this match is gonna be like Becky. It takes out like Trish and Zoe. You know, they're out, they do their thing. Just whatever happens with Zelina, she's probably on the outside or something. I think this comes
Mhm.
down to like Bailey and Io take out Zelina. They're like, oh, somebody's gonna get it. I think Io turns. I think Io turns heel on Bailey, and then that's like how we get face Bailey back because Bailey's been a heel forever. I think she's just built
Mhm.
enough like goodwill with the crowd that I think she can turn baby face and get over very well.
Absolutely,
And
Bailey's.
I-
We
Io would
love
do
Bailey. Who
great,
don't love Bailey?
right? And Io would do great with the heel run, especially like if they started a program between like her and Asuka or something. I think that'd be great. Now I think Asuka is technically a heel, but like they're both like whether Asuka's a
Oscar's
good guy or
definitely
a
a heel.
bad guy, like she's a heel, but like the crowd likes her. So even if Triple H booked it kind of like heel v heel in the future, like people are
It
probably
wouldn't
gonna
matter.
cheer both of them, right? So it's
For
like
sure, for sure.
it would be a great match if people want to see that. And even if that was like the SummerSlam match, if she like cashed in pretty quickly, I would
Mhm.
not be upset at that at all. Uh,
I would be because I want to see Oscar have a pretty long reign, but I wouldn't be because the match, it'd be a great spot. Talking
yeah,
about
if
this women's Money in the Bank match, I also want Io Sky to win. I think that'd be great. But I also think that they could set up Io Sky in a championship feud, without the briefcase. I don't think that she absolutely needs it. She had a very, very strong crowd reaction in Puerto Rico. I think people like her. I think she can wrestle her ass off. And honestly, if they wanted to pull the trigger with her and say, down the line, get into a program with Asuka and take the title off of her clean, I think that they could do that. One thing that I want to put out there in the air is on this most recent episode of Raw. Obviously, we saw Becky Lynch get the disqualification win for Trish Stratus, which means that Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark are both in the Money in the Bank ladder match. We also have two members of Damage Control. Obviously, Damage Control and Becky went at it. I think it was Raw 30 that the steel cage match was scheduled, and then the Bloodline segment went over, so they cut it and pushed it back a little bit. But she still has, relatively fresh tension with Damage Control. I think it'd be an interesting story to see Becky overcome all the odds and win the briefcase. Now, Becky doesn't need the briefcase at all. She can pull a Charlotte Flair, and if she wants to challenge Rhea right now, she can challenge Rhea right now. She doesn't need the briefcase. I do think she'd be very, very entertaining with it though. Becky's great on the mic. She's pretty good character work at this point. She's changed from the Irish last kicker to the man, big time Bex. Now she's sort of a mixture between the two. A mixture between her. Uh, what am I trying to say? Her like
the big
past
time Vex
the
persona and the
yeah,
man.
a mixture of her more recent personas, and she's a face. They could, if they wanted to, they could run a story with her having the Money in the Bank. She said on the last episode of Raw she likes power. The Money in the Bank briefcase turns her heel, and then she cashes in as a heel. They could do something like that. I think that'd be pretty entertaining. But I definitely want Io Sky to win. I think that her with the briefcase would be more entertaining. So that match should be pretty damn good. And now we talking about the men's, baby. We talking about the men's. Now we just saw on the last episode of Raw, Logan Paul is the surprise seventh entrant for the men's Money in the Bank 7, right? 7
Yes, 7.
Money in the Bank ladder match. So for this match, we have Butch Santos Escobar, we have Logan Paul as of Monday, Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, yeah, and Damian Priest. So that's 7 participants. I'm gonna start this one off, Gabe. I think what I want to happen, I absolutely want LA Knight to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's so over with the crowd. He's fantastic on the mic. He's damn good in the ring as well. I think he's just hot enough to where it doesn't really matter that he doesn't have all the credibility in the world to be a world champion. And we talking months down the line because he can't cash in on Roman or Seth. Maybe Seth. Definitely can't cash in on Roman. No, that's not how this is going to end. We literally just saw it happen, and Roman didn't get cashed in on. But like the inner Booker in me, I just want to see LA Knight be super entertaining for 6-7 months with the briefcase, and then cash in when nobody's expecting and get the crazy pop, face turn. He don't even have to have a super long time with the title. Like I feel like a 3-4 month reign, that's pretty cool with LA Knight, as of now. I definitely want to see that happen, but I don't think it will. The way I think they're gonna go is I think that they're really going to set up Judgment Day as like the most dominant force on Monday Night Raw. Whether they want to do that right now with Imperium, them being on Raw, I don't know. But the only title in Imperium is the IC title. The only title currently in Judgment Day is the Women's World Championship. And I think they add that Money in the Bank briefcase, put more prestige on Damian Priest and the Judgment Day, because I think that Damian Priest at this point has elevated himself to, main event status alongside with everybody else in the Judgment Day, even Dominic. So yeah, that's the way I think WWE is going to go with it. Gabe, let me get your thoughts, my bro.
All right. So listen, there's a lot of ways they could go with this match. I will say, coming out of this, the one thing that I think is just an absolute necessity is that whoever wins this briefcase, they need to have a long reign with the briefcase. And that's almost even more imperative with the women's side, because we know the history of the women's briefcase and being cashed in like 24 hours.
Yeah.
On both ends,
Bailey did it, and Liv did it as well. So
Bailey did it, Liv did it, Nikki did it, Alexa did it. The only women's Money in the Bank holder to hold it longer than 24 hours is Carmella, and she won it because of Ellsworth. Like, they gotta have the women's winner. Ellsworth, man. They gotta have the women's winner hold this briefcase for a while. But back to the men's. We haven't really seen a great briefcase reign there either. Like, the Miz didn't cash in until February, but he didn't even win it. He won it from Otis.
And then, which was weird.
Theory's reign, as big of a Theory fan as I am,
it was not. It was
name tag. It was a bad Money in the Bank reign.
I feel as though that was more circumstance rather than everything, because they literally just set up this overwhelming supervillain in Roman Reigns, and here comes this fucker with a camera and a briefcase that all of a sudden wants his title shot. Like, get the fuck out of here! What are you talking about? And then we saw him cash it in on the U.S. title, which is also an avenue I think they can go. I don't know if I want them to go that, but I mean, I wouldn't be upset with it.
I don't. It made sense last year just because there was one champion. Now that there is a second champion and Seth Rollins there, and it's not ending a 2-year title reign, it's not oh my gosh, who's going to be the guy? Mm-hmm. I think it makes more sense to have it go back to the world title. If it was to be on a mid-card title, I think cashing in on Gunther would be excusable, because it'll keep Gunther strong to push him to the main event scene. Mm-hmm. And then that guy will be the guy who beat Gunther. Even if it is a cash in, you pinned Gunther. That's an accomplishment either way. So I could see that being an avenue they go. But I truly think no matter what happens, unless they keep it for a while, or I guess if my predictions come through and Jay does beat Roman at SummerSlam, I don't think this gets cashed in for a while. As far as who wins this briefcase, I was full on LA Knight. The work he's been putting in. Yeah. I love me some LA Knight, bro. He's money on the mic. He's, I think, probably even a little underrated in the ring. I've watched him live. He's very entertaining. He's definitely is ready for that shot, and I think he would have a money feud with Seth Rollins if you were to cash in on him.
Oh, that would be great.
Both of them on the mic, that would be magical television. So, I would really enjoy seeing that. The thing, I could see a Priest win, but that's really only if Finn got the belt. I think that just would be such a great storyline. The fact that Finn isn't going to have the championship most likely is still just unless they go a route where Finn loses now, Damian Priest cashes in, and then Finn takes it from him. I could see that being an avenue, but it kind of does make me like suspect on Damian Priest's chances. As far as Ricochet, Shinsuke, Santos, I don't really think they have a shot. I think Butch is in the match because UK crowd. I really, really, really hope that when he comes out, they announce him as Pete Dunne. I think there's a chance because they're in the UK.
Maybe.
If there was a time for Triple H to revert him back, he hasn't been coming out with the rest of the Brawling Brutes recently. He's been solo. I think they could pull the trigger here to be like this huge pop moment because if we know one thing about WWE, they book for moments, and that's about as big a one as you can see. The guy I've been waiting to talk about this whole time, man. Logan Paul would be a phenomenal Money in the Bank holder.
As much as I don't like him personally, I gotta admit, he'd be great with the briefcase. He'd be great with it.
He would be. It's just so much like just the publicity of like you look on Impulsive and it's like, dude, what's this big fucking briefcase this guy has? And it's like he could be the world champion at any time. And here's the thing: is that
money in a briefcase on a podcast setup, yo.
It's like with Money in the Bank, the unpredictability factor of when this guy's gonna cash in. I think a big thing with Money in the Bank in the past couple of years that's made it such an issue is you have this guy in the waiting that has this title shot when you have like an active feud going on. Like that's what screwed over Theory really bad, and it screwed over other guys in the past too. And it's like, I don't know how, like sometimes it becomes more of a hindrance. Like say on the women's side when Nikki ASH had it, like they already had this whole Rhea Charlotte thing going on. So then they were like, oh, just cash in real quick, and then we'll just get the title back off you in a month and give it back to Charlotte. And now you're out of the title picture and it's over. Like It becomes a hindrance like that. When Logan Paul has the briefcase, if he got it, he could just disappear for like 3 months.
Exactly. That's exactly what could happen. He could disappear until SummerSlam, and then all of a sudden, this motherfucker comes out and cashes in on Seth. That would be great. That'd be great.
And they have had one match so far. So say they have one match. Logan cashes in at SummerSlam. That's technically match 2. Logan wins. He takes the title. Crazy publicity tour of Logan Paul being on Impulsive with the fucking world heavyweight title. Right?
What the fuck?
And then he only really needs to have the title for a month. Then they set up like the next big show, whether it's like he takes another Saudi payday and it's like Crown Jewel or something. Like it doesn't have to be too long after, but we get on the other side of SummerSlam and they have the blow off match, maybe a big stipulation match because Logan's like his performances have progressively been getting bigger. He had like the first match, like singles wise, at least with the Miz. Then he had the big main event match with Roman. Then he was in the Royal Rumble. Now he's in Money in the Bank.
He really main evented a pay-per-view with Roman Reigns.
Yeah, and it was a great match.
A good match.
I loved the match.
It was a great match.
He was really good in the Rumble as well. So it's like he's slowly building his credibility as participating in all these different matches. So like I could see him and Seth having like a Hell in a Cell match or something. I don't think that's out of the question, especially on like a Saudi show. I think that's a very like possible thing they would do for a blow-off match of that feud. And so like a Logan cash in, I don't think it's out of the picture at all, especially because the last person he faced is the current champion. And so there's just a really cool dynamic, I think, there overall to just make some great money. And he would have great heat. Great.
What I will say, I think you could also, and this is probably a little unrealistic because I don't think we're going to see Logan Paul weekly like for some time because he's just not a weekly performer. But if they really wanted to, I mean, they could get a mid card. They could get one of the mid card champions. Well, they're not gonna. Never mind. They could take the U.S. title off of Theory. They're definitely not doing that with Gunther. My mistake. That's not happening. But if they really wanted to, they could take the U.S. title off of Theory, have him run around with it for like 2 months, and then drop it to whoever. I feel like that'd be pretty cool. Or whoever is holding the U.S. championship. Because I don't think we're gonna. If Logan Paul wins, it's gonna be a minute before we see a cash in. Potentially even at WrestleMania, is how that could go. And we just completely take the Money in the Bank briefcase, off TV until February, and then or something like that, or even literally up until WrestleMania, and then Logan cashes in. So, yeah, those are our thoughts on the entire Money in the Bank pay-per-view, the Money in the Bank women's ladder match, as well as the men's. Gabe, who was your picks to win both ladder matches?
I'm going with Io Sky, and I'm gonna say it, man. It's gonna be Logan Paul.
You heard it. Gabe, Io Sky, and Logan Paul. My picks for Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank are Io Sky and Damian Priest. That's it for this video. If you enjoy, like, subscribe, check my man Gabe out. His channel links will be in the description. Channel links, social media, all that. Thank you for watching. I hope y'all enjoy Money in the Bank as I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace.